Apex Legends has so many things going on while fighting, it's very hard to understand what to do and when to do it. Rotating and dealing with third parties is a huge issue a lot of people run into when playing ranked. But you're a smart player, you know that a third party is coming, but you just aren't quite aware of how to deal with it. So hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8 Second Gaming, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking you on a tour of World's Edge to show you exactly what to look for when rotating and how to deal with third parties so you can stop dying and start gaining tons of RP. Two things I want to touch on quickly though is these things don't just apply to World's Edge, you can use them on other maps such as Stormpoint, Olympus, and Kings Canyon. And if you enjoy this type of video, please drop a thumbs up. Not only does that help YouTube push it out to more and more people, it also shows me that you guys want to see more of this style of videos so that I do more of them in the future. But enough selling out, let's talk rotations. Okay, so first off, we need to set the scene. What exactly is going on in this situation? Well, let's take an area of World's Edge where a lot of people like to fight, this little area outside of Lava Siphon, and you have a lot of options right now. There's a lot of places you can rotate. You can rotate this little S curves, you can go in the tunnel, you can go into like the command center, you can go into these buildings, you can play any one of these buildings, you can play any one of these buildings, you can go up this choke, you can go out this choke, and you can go into geyser, you can go over here. There's tons of options and you need to be aware of every single one of these when you're playing an area such as this, because you need to know how to get out, exactly where to go if a team pushes you. So say you're in this building right here, a team is coming through this choke, you don't want to let them through here, so you start laying down cover fire right here. As you do that, a team from Fragment hears you and they start making their way down the choke. You have one person that's looking around and happens to spot them, so you don't want to be the center of attention. What are your options? Well, you can't go into the choke because if you force a fight in here, you're just going to get third partied and you're gonna die. Not a good thing. So if you don't want to go into the choke, you can't go into the Dorito because once again, you're going to force a fight here. This team's going to push up, you're going to die. So what can you do? What are the options? If you're looking around right now, what are your options? Well, one is to just back off down here, but you're on low ground. So low ground isn't a very good thing. It isn't very optimal. Another option is to have a Wraith on your team portal you onto the bridge. There's a lot of random boxes here that you can play and help your team stabilize. You also have the option of re-engaging. If this team overcommits to the building, this team comes in, they start fighting, you can now come in and be the third party. Or if they don't engage, they don't fight, say this team backs out of the choke here, this team starts pushing on this building to try and contest you on the bridge, you have the options of going into this house, or the big building. You have tons of options here. If you were to commit on any one of those teams, you would get third partied instantly and die. So you need to be looking at options you have every single time. But now let's look at one where there isn't as many options. Another slightly popular drop spot is Overlook on World's Edge. Now a lot of people like to land right here because there's the donut building, you have all the bins over here, you have this house, you have this house, there's a lot of loot in this area. But if you're contested and a team lands over here and they take all this loot and they hold you on the donut building, what are your options? Well, if you look at the map, where can you go? If you are holding this little area right here, what are your choices? Well, one, you can try to make your way down here into No Name and get a spot in here. Two, you can take this back choke here and slide into the tunnel and go towards Geyser. Both of those are solid options, but there's a third option, and the third option is to just take positive space. If you happen to notice that one teammate is playing over here, one teammate is playing over here, and a third teammate is playing back here, you know this team is split and you can start to look for angles. This house offers a lot of protection. This house offers a lot of protection. So you don't always have to rotate out of here. If you're dropping, you need to be paying attention to where other teams are. So you can know that it takes a lot of time for teams to cover this area right here. Even if you start fighting, if teams drop contested, they're going to have to deal with their teams first and then rotate towards you. So it's not always immediate third parties. You do have a little bit of time, and off the drop fights are pretty good if you can get them done quickly and efficiently. So if you're fighting contested, what you need to do is start looking for positive space. Is this train tunnel guy looking at you? If he's looking here, this area is unplayable. If this guy is looking here, this area is unplayable. And then if this guy is looking over here, this area is unplayable. So you have 3 spots all right here that are unplayable. But if one person stops looking, say this house building right here isn't looking, he's running around, he's looting, you have an opportunity to use blind spots to then push into this building. Once you have that done, these teams need to make a choice. Are they going to rotate to the building? Is this guy going to rotate out? And what about this guy? If this big building rotates to train tracks, this guy is now split, and you have an opportunity to take this house, drive a wedge in between them, because now you have this area where he can't cross, and you can make plays on this guy and single it out and make it a 3v2. There are always options. Now you could, if you're playing back here, they're all playing over here. If this area is just unplayable, if they have really good angles on it, it is always a safe option to just rotate out. You never know if teams are coming up. You never know if these guys are pushing up. Rotating out is always a safe option. And there is no best course here. It changes game to game. I can't tell you exactly what to do. You have to feel it out in game. Do you have better armor than them? Do you have better guns than them? Are you able to get a crack? Are you able to get a knock? If you're able to get positive damage out and take uncontested space, obviously you should probably fight at that point, but it's going to dictate from game to game. And the team comps also factor in, so I can't tell you exactly when to fight, when to run away in this exact scenario. But what about an option where you should run 100% of the time? What if you have an opportunity to push a team, but you know that it is a horrible idea? What then? What do you do then? Well, let's take this rotation for example. Very popular drop spot is Skyhook right in here. And a lot of teams like to rotate out here. Say you didn't get a beacon here, there's another team that landed over here, they got their beacon here. You want a beacon. You're playing somebody like Bloodhound, Pathfinder, Valkyrie, somebody like that, and you want to scan beacon. This house has a beacon scan, or a beacon spot. So you and your team, you're rotating out, you make it to about here, and you notice that there's a team full holding this house. They have a Caustic trapped up, they have Rampart, they have Watson, they are literally bunkered up, turtled, no one is getting them out no matter what. And you're like, okay, well, we can take angles, we can start throwing nades, we can do some stuff, potentially get a knock, something like that, and be able to push. But as you're walking up, you notice a team from Survey is also coming up. They are coming over here, and there happens to be a team over here that is sniping. What are your options there? Well, look at where you are. Look at what the options are. Your team is right here. You can always back up. You can always back up. You can try to make a Hail Mary play for right in the train tunnel right here, but these guys have a window right here, so they can shoot you. These guys can shoot you. These guys don't have an angle on that, but there are 2 teams that can shoot you, so that isn't the best option. So we're going to cross off right here. You can drop back, and you can go either one of 2 ways. You can go here, or you can go here. Well, like we said, there is a team at Skyhook. You don't know where they rotated to. They could be coming over here. They could have gone to Countdown. If they went into Countdown, it's potential that they are coming up here. So there's a lot of teams coming in here. So I'm going to cross this off. This isn't the best option, but it's kind of like a semi-cross. So we're gonna half cross it out because it still is a viable option. So the best option right now is to either dip into the train tunnel here or continue running down here to go to the the little train station, or take this zip line up and get into train tunnel through here. Either way, you're getting into train tunnel. You want to take train tunnel here no matter what. So we're going to full cross this off. Right now, train is the best option. You know the team left Survey. There's not going to be any loot there for you, but you know that the team left Survey. So you know that this is a wide open spot, so we can put a check mark right here. These guys are going to be fighting. These guys are going to be zip lining up and potentially fighting up here, or they're just going to hold their building. This Skyhook team, Countdown teams, who knows what's going to be rotating over here? You don't know. So if you were to stay there, teams would be engaging on each other, fights would be drawn out, more and more teams would show up, and you would just be caught in the middle. So there are always times where you have to run away, and that would be one of them. You know the team left Survey. Just dip back in here, come through here, leave here, and you're in Survey. Now what you could do is try to rotate up and sandwich these guys, but that is a very risky play. probably the best course of action for you would just be either keep going into Climatizer or into Epicenter. Then you can look for better rotations into Fragment, into No Name, into Overlook. There's a lot of options that you can take. So that is one of the examples where you should always run away. Now, what I say in this video is a good baseline to go off of, but my words should not be law when you're doing your own rotations. In an ever-changing game such as Apex, you should always be looking at the best option for your team. This is a good baseline for you to build your own foundation off of and work on your own personal playstyle. Some of these examples that I gave, some of the abilities that get thrown out might change the fight, might change your options, and you never know what can happen. So just play around with your own personal playstyle, learn from your own mistakes, and go from there. I hope this video helped you out just a little bit and you learned something new, and if you did and you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that sub button and ring the bell to be notified when we post. We do daily uploads. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.